Hey guys, it's Faith Amina, and you've made it to part 3 of this 5-part series. Make sure if you haven't seen 1 and 2 to go check those out and keep watching. Thank you so much.
What are your family thoughts on polyamory? Well, I don't think they're old school. So old school black people. So they're like very. I guess I would want to say I don't know if they're open to that. I think they would be open and comfortable with me being happy, but I don't know if that would we've never talked about polyamory in my families. It's definitely not something talked about. They're used to the traditional monogamous relationship, so I don't know. I actually don't know. I would assume my father would be much more open to it than my mother. We're Christian-based household, so kind of staunch Baptist, so I don't know. I actually never heard them talk anything about it.
What are your family thoughts on polyamory? Yes. So, let me give you the backdrop of my family. My dad is a conservative Republican. Yeah, he voted for Trump. That's my dad. I love him to death. He was military. All he cares about is whether the military gets money. Cool. Can't hate him for that. Get your money, boo. So, my mom, a little bit more liberal, but she is one of those, hey, we grew up, your dad's the leader of the household, so I follow his lead, which has caused some schisms. This is where it gets very interesting. My oldest brother, he's getting married for the second time, but he only talks to white women. Crazy. Second oldest brother, gay. Sister, gay. Me, pansexual, and poly. So by the time they got to me, they're just like, all right, so what you got? Like they already, your brother only likes white women. Your brother and sister are both gay. What you got for us? Like what? You're a zebra? What is it? So when I finally told them, it was because actually my sister and I got into an argument because, well, actually this is what happened. My sister got into my business without coming to check in with me first to see what was going on. Like a lot of people do with polyamorous relationships. They'll see somebody mad and they want to go like save somebody. Oh no, they're mad. So what? You're mad in your relationship all the time and you're married. It happens. People go through stuff. Don't think leaving non-monogamy is a way to fix your relationship issues, or that leaving monogamy is a way to fix your relationship issues. The preference and style of relationship does have something to do with relational health, but what has more to do with relational health is you and how you interact in a relationship, which goes back to the communication and being patient. But anyway, so we get into it. My mom calls me the next day like, yo, I heard you and your sister, y'all fell out. What happened? I'm like, well, let me tell y'all, I'm polyamorous. And my mom's like, what is that? Well, I'm like, well, Mom, I have multiple partners. My partners have partners, and we all know about it, so it's all good. Her first name, that's some freak shit. I'm like, sure, whatever. Like, my dad immediately starts laughing. Because he was just like, all right, son, whatever, do you. Are they all coming to Thanksgiving? You have to prepare us for that, because I don't know if I can handle that yet. So they handled it well, but I can still see how they don't, get it. Now, other pieces of my family, I had to cut off a cousin of mine because she called my partners not hoes. To literally on, social media. And I corrected her. I'm like, look, first of all, I know some people in, the sex positive space are okay with that word. Me, personally, being a hoe has less to do with how many people you have sex with, more about how you go about doing it. So, I'm not a hoe. Morals, values, ethics, I have them. And I have them to a certain point where I have to protect people's not only health, physical health. So that's why I'm transparent with everything and authentic with everything, to the point where also I have to protect my own and still think of all these different relational factors in order for it to play out. I'm not a hoe, but I had to cut her off. I'm like, look, if you say this about my partner tonight one more time, you're not going to hear from me. So literally 6 months later, she called me and apologized. Stand your ground. Like, if you believe in something, stand it. People will respect it. And if they don't, who cares? But, so my family is back and forth. A lot of people in my family really love the fact that I'm so authentic and honest. because they never had the option to be so, or they never gave themselves the option to be so. And secretly, a lot of the males in my family are like, yeah, you're doing it. And I'm just like, no, not quite, because that means your wife has to be able to have somebody else as well. And then they do the classic man cringe, like, no, I can't, no other penises, whatever. So, family, they're kind of about it. It grows with time. A lot of them have come around to ask me questions. And when they meet my partners and they see how much I interact with them and love them, they go a little bit more at ease.
Where do you meet other polyamorous people? I don't know. Maybe polyamorymeetup.com. I don't know. The crazy thing is, I've only really met 2 other people that have expressed that they were polyamorous, and I was at a associates event, co-workers event, and she invited me to her event for her birthday. And while I was there, I was very attracted to one of the attendees. And so we started having a discussion about, relationships and love. I don't even know how I got to that point, but she opened up to me, said she had a boyfriend. So I was like, oh, okay. I kind of killed the conversation. But later in the evening, we had like a kind of a mixer, just talking. Everybody was talking about relationships, and she opened up that she was in an open relationship, even though she had a boyfriend. So I was like, wow, like I should have kept this conversation going. So, but I don't, it was another person also there that he said that he had been in an open relationship, said it worked pretty well for him, even though it did not last. So, I mean, I don't know where you necessarily meet polyamorous people, but I would assume that people may not share their relationships often about what they're into and what they like to do. And so when I hear that, it's actually kind of interesting, but I don't know necessarily where I would meet them, but I guess common places, I don't know.
So where do you meet other polyamorous people? So we have like this secret group that you have to you go to this like steel door, and you have to knock like 3 times and then say like love forever. No, like we're normal people. Like we go to brunch, we meet at parties. We do have like specific happy hours that we create and set with social groups. Like Facebook has massive amounts of poly network groups. Any meetup type application, there's a poly, non-monogamous, black and poly, Latin and poly, BDSM, queer and poly for the nation, poly builders, poly parents, kids of poly parents. There's everything. So as I tell my students, every answer you need in life is on Google. So just Google poly groups and you'll find us. I meet a lot of people actually randomly just walking around. It's like we have like a poly radar for each other, because we'll respond to something the same way. We're like, you're poly. Like, I was at a bar for happy hour, and we saw, it was me, my friend, and actually it was just me and him at the time. So people walk in, they start having conversations, whatever. And one of my favorite things to do at bars is to listen to other people's conversations, because they're hilarious. So 2 girls come in, they start talking, and the one girl's like, oh my God, like my partner, and immediately when I hear partner, because it's a very small community who uses partner, it's either like, okay, you're either in the alternative sexuality community or alternative relationship community. Let me listen. Boom. So my partner's partner, I was like, yes! So listen, my partner's partner, da-da-da, and I didn't know how to feel about it, and there's a metamor, there's another one, and da-da-da, and I was like, so I'm like, yo, I'm eavesdropping on your conversation, I'm poly too, you're going through stuff, we're all going through stuff, you can do it. And we all just ended up having drinks after. So you never know. At my job, I met somebody who was poly during an interview that I did. Like, we're everywhere. Literally, like, we're everywhere. We're like the X-Men. Like, we just try to hide our powers the ones that can until you meet us. And then you're like, oh my God, like, you're Wolverine. This is crazy. Also, conferences on the more academic realm, there are entire international conferences based on sex positivity and relationship positivity. And there are international and national organizations, like the Woodhull Freedom Foundation is a huge one that is relationship positive. Relationship Equality Foundation, the National Coalition for Sexual Freedom. There's conferences like Poly Dallas Millennium. There's a conference in Toronto, Catalyst Con in LA. Where else? There's Loving More. There's so many that are there for people who identify as non-monogamous, where you can have community and have people just to kick it with. You don't have to worry about the stereotypes and telling everybody you're not trying to have sex with them, you know. But don't forget, you have to knock 3 times. 3.
I'm really excited that you made it this far. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share with somebody.